I'm an imposter, and I'm really bad at this job, which is hilarious because everyone thinks I'm the best crewmate on this ship. It started in the lobby when Green asked who was ready for a quick game, and I said, I have visual tasks, before the round even started. Red is sus, Orange typed in chat, and I panicked so hard I ran straight to medbay and stood at the scanner for 2 minutes. The scanner didn't light up because imposters can't do tasks, but Orange just shrugged and walked away like he felt bad for calling me out. I've been an imposter for 3 rounds now, and my body count is 0, but my task standing count is 47. Purple cornered me in storage and said, if you're imposter, just kill me, bro. I won't tell, and I didn't know what to do, so I just stood there breathing heavily. He waited for like 10 seconds, sighed, then turned around to leave, and that's when my kill button appeared and my finger slipped. Purple's body dropped, and I just stared at it like I'd broken my mom's favorite vase. Except the vase was a person, and I was in space. I tried to self-report, but hit the vent button instead and fell through the floor into the most awkward imposter moment of my life. Yellow was already in the vent eating a sandwich, and we just looked at each other for 5 full seconds before he said, bro. Yellow became my imposter mentor after that, teaching me the ancient art of standing near tasks without actually doing them convincingly. The key, he said, is to look frustrated because crewmates doing tasks are always one failed card swipe away from a mental breakdown. I practiced my frustrated stand for 6 minutes at the card swipe until Cyan walked by and asked if I needed help. I said no thanks. I got this, swiped the card that wasn't there, then walked away like I'd completed it, and Cyan gave me a thumbs up. Yellow said I was ready for my first real kill, but I told him I was more of a task-standing specialist, and he called me a disgrace to imposters everywhere. That's when White called an emergency meeting and said, I've been watching Red and they've done every single task on this ship. Everyone agreed. Green said Red fixed O2 twice, Blue said I diverted power perfectly, and Orange apologized for sussing me earlier. I'm being framed for being a good crewmate, I thought, which is the opposite of every imposter's problem ever. Then White said, so I nominate Red as the crew leader for this round, and everyone voted yes, including Yellow, who was trying not to laugh. I became the first imposter in Among Us history to be elected crew leader, which I'm pretty sure violates the Geneva Convention. My first order as crew leader was to implement a buddy system, which Yellow said was the most imposter thing I'd done all game. Everyone paired up except me and Yellow, who got stuck together, and he whispered, if you make me do tasks, I will kill you myself. We went to electrical, and I stood at the download task while he stood at the wires, both of us doing absolutely nothing but looking very busy. Cyan walked in to fix lights and said, wow, you guys are such good teammates, and Yellow laughed so hard he accidentally vented in front of them. Cyan just stood there processing what they saw, looked at me, looked at the vent, then said, I'm gonna pretend I didn't see that. We finished the round with 0 kills between us, 8 completed buddy system checks, and 1 crew victory that felt more like a participation trophy. In the lobby afterward, White said that was the smoothest crew round ever, and invited me to their Discord for serious players only. Yellow got voted out in the next round for being suspicious, which was fair, and I became imposter again, which was cosmic punishment. This time I was paired with Green, who immediately said, okay, I'll do kills, you do sabotage, and I realized I'd never learned what sabotage was. I stared at the sabotage button like it was advanced calculus, then accidentally locked us both in medbay with 6 crewmates. The doors sealed and everyone just looked at us, and I said, sorry guys, my finger slipped like that would somehow make this normal. Green tried to play it cool by walking to the scanner, forgetting he was an imposter, and stood there for 10 seconds before anyone noticed. Orange said wait and pointed at Green, then at me, then at the locked door, and I watched his brain connect dots I didn't want connected. Green looked at me, I looked at Green, and we both hit the vent button at the exact same time like we'd rehearsed it. We landed in the vent system on top of each other, and he said, I can't believe I got stuck with you as my imposter partner. The crew emergency met immediately, but instead of voting us, White said, I think they're just really bad at being imposters. Everyone agreed to let us finish our tasks, which didn't make sense until I realized they meant let us continue pretending to be crew. Blue said it's more fun this way, and suddenly I understood that I'd become the ship's entertainment, the imposter equivalent of a class pet. Green got frustrated and actually killed someone out of spite, got caught immediately, and got ejected while everyone said finally. I was alone again. The last imposter, with a ship full of crew who trusted me completely, and a task list I'd memorized but couldn't complete. I found Cyan alone in navigation, staring at the stars, and my kill button lit up for the first time all round. This was it. My moment. The reason I was given this role, and Cyan turned around and said, "Hey Red, nice view, right?" I looked at the stars, looked at Cyan, looked at my kill button, and realized I'd become something worse than a bad imposter. I'd become a good person, which in Among Us is basically a war crime. So I did what any self-respecting imposter who'd forgotten how to murder would do. I walked to the emergency button and called a meeting on myself. I confessed everything: the fake tasks, the accidental purple kill, the medbay disaster, my complete failure as an imposter. White said, "We know, Red. We've known since round 1, and I felt my soul leave my bean-shaped body." Orange said, "You tried to scan at medbay for 2 minutes. Nobody's that committed to a bit," and everyone started laughing, including me. They voted me out anyway, but it was the gentlest ejection I'd ever seen, complete with a salute from White and a 07 in chat. I floated through space watching them finish the round, and Yellow's ghost floated by and said, "You're still a disgrace, but I respect it." I queued for another game and got imposter again, and this time I walked straight to the emergency button before the round started. I said, "Listen, I'm really bad at this, and if anyone wants to trade roles, now's the time," and the lobby lost their minds. Someone said this is the best Among Us content I've seen all year, and I got invited to 3 streaming servers. I became famous for being the worst imposter in Among Us history, which is exactly the kind of backward success story I deserved. So remember, if you're bad at being an imposter, just lean into it. Because sometimes the best strategy is accidentally becoming everyone's favorite crewmate. And if you see someone standing at the card swipe for 6 minutes, that's probably me, still trying to figure out this whole murder thing. I'm Red, I'm an imposter, and I've never successfully completed a single kill, but I've completed every fake task on this ship twice. And honestly, that's the most Among Us thing I could ever say.